Evan Cole stood quietly inside the tiny shuttle as it drifted toward the Illyrian research station. Outside the window, the stars looked cold and sharp, like silver dust floating in endless darkness. The station itself was a giant ring of metal and blue crystal glowing softly in the void. It was beautiful, but Evan did not feel calm. His heart kept beating fast, and he did not know why. He was just a human traveler, a simple visitor. Nothing special. At least, that was what he believed. The shuttle docked with a gentle click. A soft robotic voice said, "Welcome, visitor. Please exit the craft." Evan stepped out slowly. The floor felt strange, smooth like glass, but warm like living skin. The air inside the station smelled different too, clean and cold, almost like rain. Blue lights followed his steps, guiding him down a long hallway. Everything looked peaceful, but then the alarms began. A sharp red light flashed across the walls. A deep warning sound echoed through the corridor. Evan froze. From the left and right, tall alien guards rushed forward. Their armor was silver with glowing lines across their chests. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were full of caution. "Identify yourself," one guard demanded. "Evan Cole," he replied, trying to stay steady. "I'm here for research exchange. I have the documents." Before he could finish, a hologram scanner appeared in front of him and swept across his body. The guards stared at the results, confused. "What is wrong?" Evan asked. The guards exchanged looks but said nothing. One of them tapped a device on her wrist. A moment later, soft footsteps echoed through the hallway. A young alien girl walked in. She looked different from the guards, slender, gentle, wearing a white research robe. Her skin had a faint glow, like moonlight on water. Her eyes were bright teal, full of intelligence and curiosity. She carried a crystal tablet and studied Evan as if he were a puzzle. Her name was Lyra. She stepped closer, and when she spoke, her voice was soft but filled with authority. "Why did you activate the ancient alert protocol?" Evan blinked. What?" Lyra frowned. She switched to her own alien language, speaking quickly and precisely. The words were melodic, sharp, full of tones Evan had never heard before. But something strange happened. Without thinking, without understanding, Evan replied in the same language. His voice was steady. His words were perfect. Each sound rolled off his tongue like he had spoken it all his life. The guards froze. Lyra froze. Even Evan froze. He did not know what he had just said. Lyra's hands trembled. Her eyes widened in shock. She whispered, almost afraid to breathe. You speak the dead language of our ancestors?" The hallway fell silent. The guards slowly stepped back. One placed a hand over his heart in an ancient gesture of respect. Another lowered her helmet in disbelief. No one alive spoke that language. It had died thousands of years ago. Evan felt his mouth go dry. I don't know what I just said," he whispered. Lyra stared at him like he was a ghost from a forgotten time. "Repeat this," she said softly, and she spoke a short phrase in her modern language. Evan understood the meaning. But when he tried to answer, the ancient language came out again. Smooth, fluent, natural. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. "This is impossible," she said. "No human, no Illyrian. No one should know this language. It belongs to the First Age, to the ones who built our world." Evan felt dizzy. His hands shook. "I swear, I don't know how." "Follow me," Lyra commanded, her voice trembling but firm. "We need to test this." The guards formed a protective ring around him, not hostile anymore, but tense and alert, as if escorting someone important or dangerous. As they walked through the station, Evan noticed how the lights changed. The blue glow dimmed, replaced by golden lines along the walls. Alien symbols lit up one by one, following him like eyes waking from long sleep. "It reacts to you," one guard whispered. Lyra nodded, fear growing in her voice. Only an ancient voice could trigger these systems. Evan swallowed. Ancient voice? What does that mean? Liara looked at him carefully. A myth, a prophecy. Something that should not exist in reality. They reached a large steel door. It opened silently as Evan approached, without anyone touching a panel or entering a code. The guards stepped back in shock that the room beyond was wide and dark. A circular platform sat in the center. Strange markings covered the floor. Liara stepped beside him. "Say something," she whispered. Evan opened his mouth, and the ancient language poured out. The weight of his own voice echoed through the chamber, activating hidden symbols that glowed one by one. The floor lit up with golden patterns. The platform hummed with power. And then, a holographic figure rose from the center, shaped like an Illyrian elder. Its eyes blazed with white light. It pointed directly at Evan. "The lost voice returns," it declared. "After 5,000 years, the sleeper wakes." Liara stumbled back. The guards bowed their heads, and Evan, terrified and confused, realized something horrible. He wasn't just speaking an ancient language. He was triggering a prophecy, and the entire station knew it. The glowing hologram slowly faded, but the echo of its ancient words still filled the chamber. Evan stood frozen, breathing hard. He felt as if the floor had disappeared beneath his feet. Everything around him felt unreal. The lights, the symbols, the strange golden patterns that had awakened only because of him. Liara finally spoke, her voice shaking. "We must run tests, now." The guards nodded silently. None of them dared to touch Evan, but they formed a tight circle around him, guiding him toward another corridor. This time no alarm sounded. Instead, the walls glowed with a warm gold light, as if greeting an old friend after thousands of years. Evan didn't feel like a friend. He felt like someone standing inside a dream, a dangerous dream. As they moved deeper into the station, Liara kept watching him, her teal eyes full of questions she couldn't ask yet. Every few seconds she would whisper something into her crystal tablet, recording the impossible details happening around them. They finally reached a tall door made of transparent crystal. It opened silently, revealing a large research chamber, filled with soft blue lights, floating screens, and strange circular machines humming gently. Liara motioned him inside. "This room measures language memory, brain waves, and ancestral echo." Evan swallowed. "That sounds intense." "It is," she replied softly, "but we need to understand what you are." Evan took a step back. "I already told you. I'm just a human." Liara shook her head slowly. "No human can do what you just did, and no Illyrian can either." The machines around the room activated as Evan walked in. Lights brightened, symbols glowed, and one of the floating screens displayed an ancient rune before flickering to life. The rune spiraled around Evan like soft fireflies. A robotic voice spoke. "Ancient resonance detected." Evan's heart raced. "What's happening?" Liara didn't answer. She was typing so fast her fingers blurred. The guards stood still. At the entrance, as if guarding something sacred, Liara finally looked up at Evan. "Sit on the center seat," she said. In the middle of the room was a smooth circular chair carved from crystal. Evan slowly sat down. The chair adjusted itself to his shape, glowing faintly under him. Then everything went quiet. The machines began reading him. Soft blue beams scanned his body from every angle. Floating screens showed patterns Evan couldn't understand. Liara stood in front of him. "I will ask you simple questions. Answer in whatever language comes naturally." Evan nodded, nervous. Liara spoke a sentence in her modern Illyrian language. "Who are you?" Evan tried to answer, "I'm Evan Cole." But the ancient language came out instead. His voice sounded older, deeper, as if someone else spoke through him. The machines reacted instantly. Golden spirals appeared on the screens, spinning fast. Lyra's eyes widened again. "Next question. Where are you from?" Evan tried Earth, but again the ancient tongue flowed out. The room responded, the walls brightened, the chair warmed beneath him, and the rooms around him rotated faster. Liara took a step closer. Do you understand this language? Evan shook his head helplessly. No, I don't know how I'm doing this. But the ancient language answered for him, forming words he never learned, carrying meanings he somehow felt instead of understood. Suddenly, one of the machines blared a warning tone. A red symbol flashed. Liara gasped. This can't be. Evan's pulse quickened. What's wrong? Liara turned the screen toward him. It showed 2 DNA strands, one human, one Illyrian, slowly matching into a third pattern. It is reading your genetics, she said softly. Your DNA carries a dormant sequence that matches our ancestors. This means humans were closer to us than we believed. Much closer. Evan blinked. Are you saying humans and Illyrians are related? Liara didn't deny it. She just watched him with fear and wonder. But before she could explain more, the chamber lights suddenly turned crimson. A deeper alarm rang out, sharp, urgent. The guard captain rushed in. Researcher Liara, we have a situation. Liara stiffened. What happened? The guard pointed at Evan. The ancient beacon under the station has activated. Liara's face drained of color. That beacon hasn't lit in 5,000 years. She whispered. Exactly, the captain said. And it is calling for him. Evan stood up quickly. Calling for me? Why? Liara swallowed hard. That beacon was built by the first ones, our oldest ancestors. It only activates when the universe is in danger. Or when the ancient voice returns. Evan's chest tightened. So what does it want from me? Liara met his eyes. It wants you to come to the lower level, to the ancient chamber, the place where our entire history began. She stepped closer, her voice low and serious, and where the last prophecy was written. Evan felt the room tilt. Prophecy, beacon, calling him, nothing made sense. Yet everything inside the station reacted to him. The captain gave a final warning. The beacon is growing stronger. If he doesn't go now, the station may not hold. Liara nodded and turned to Evan. Come with us, she said. Your past and our future are waiting below. Evan followed Liara and the guards down a long crystal hallway that sloped deeper into the station. With every step, the air grew thicker, warmer, almost alive. Strange golden lines ran along the walls, glowing brighter whenever Evan walked past them. It felt as if the station itself recognized him. Evan whispered, Why does everything react to me? Liara's voice was quiet. Because you shouldn't exist. Evan frowned. That's not comforting. Liara didn't smile. Her eyes stayed focused ahead, full of worry and curiosity mixing like 2 storms inside her. The guards stayed tense. None of them spoke. Finally, they reached a circular steel door far older than anything else in the station. The surface was covered in faded runes and cracks. Huge metal locks wrapped around it like vines. It looked ancient, untouched for thousands of years. A deep hum vibrated through the air. The guards stepped back. Liara held up her tablet. The beacon is behind this door, she said. But it only opens for the ancient voice. Evan's chest tightened. So, I have to try? You don't try, Liara said softly. It responds to your voice automatically. Evan didn't want to believe that, but as he stepped closer, the runes on the door flickered. They glowed weakly at first, then brighter and brighter, until the entire door pulsed like a heartbeat. Liara breathed out in awe. It recognizes you. Evan didn't feel special. He felt terrified. He raised his hand, not sure what else to do. The moment his fingers touched the metal, the entire door unlocked with a violent burst of light. The metal vines unwrapped. The locks fell open. The door slid apart with a deep rumbling sound, releasing a blast of warm air from inside. Beyond The door was a vast circular room, far older than the rest of the station. The walls were made of black stone and glowing ancient symbols. In the center stood a giant sphere floating above a pedestal, spinning slowly. It emitted soft golden rays that touched every corner of the chamber. Evan took a step forward. Liara whispered, "The ancient beacon." The moment Evan entered, the sphere spun faster, releasing golden waves through the air. The symbols on the walls activated one by one, lighting the room like a star being born. Evan flinched. "It's reacting again." Liara walked beside him, her voice shaking. "This chamber was built by our oldest ancestors. They used it to communicate across galaxies and to detect universal threats. So why does it want me?" Evan asked. Liara looked at him carefully. "I think you are part of their design." Before Evan could respond, the sphere emitted a low tone, a deep, vibrating sound that felt like it came from the core of the universe. The stone floor lit up beneath Evan's feet, forming a circle of ancient runes. The runes wrapped around his ankles, climbing like glowing vines. Evan panicked. "Liara, what is this?" Liara didn't answer. She was staring at the sphere. With wide eyes, from the sphere, a beam of golden light shot down and hit the floor in front of Evan. The light twisted, forming a holographic structure, a massive map of stars, galaxies, and cosmic patterns. Liara gasped. "This is a star chart." The map zoomed in on a distant region of space, dark, swirling, surrounded by faint red fog. Evan shivered. "What's that place?" Lyra's face tightened. "That region is forbidden. No one returns from it." Lines of ancient text spun around the hologram. Evan's mind buzzed. Without meaning to, he began reading out loud in the dead language. The runes glowed brighter with every word he spoke. Liara stared at him with pure shock. "You're translating it?" Evan shook his head helplessly. "I'm not controlling it. The words just come." The message became clear as the hologram projected an image of a giant shadow, a creature made of darkness and cosmic storm. Liara whispered, That is a void reaver." Evan's blood turned cold. "What is that?" Liara answered slowly, "A destroyer of worlds. A predator born from the empty space between galaxies. Our ancestors fought them long ago and sealed them away." Evan stared at the image, the giant cosmic monster devouring stars. Like sparks, the beacon hummed again. The runes tightened their glow around Evan's legs, locking him in place. The sphere's golden light wrapped around him like chains made of fire. Liara stepped forward. "Stop! You're hurting him!" But the beacon didn't stop. Instead, a voice filled the chamber, deep, ancient, echoing through time itself. The ancient voice has returned. "The void reaver rises. The key must awaken." Evan struggled to breathe. "Key?" Liara shook her head desperately. "I don't know." The sphere released another pulse, this one hitting Evan's chest. His vision blurred. The chamber spun. For a moment, he saw flashes, memories he never lived. A city of golden towers. Illyrian ancestors bowing to him. A war against shadow creatures. A final scream. Liara grabbed his shoulders. "Yevon, stay with me." The pulse ended abruptly. The runes vanished. The sphere dimmed. Evan collapsed to his knees, gasping. Liara knelt beside him, fear in her voice. "What did you see?" Evan looked up slowly, eyes trembling. "I think," he whispered, "the void reaver is coming back." The chamber grew silent, cold, heavy, hopeless. Liara stared at him, unable to speak. The prophecy was real. The threat was real. And somehow, the key to stopping it was inside Evan. Evan was still on his knees when the chamber doors burst open. The entire room shook as a squad of elite Illyrian soldiers marched inside. Their armor shone with bright blue lines, and their helmets had glowing visors shaped like sharp wings. These were not normal guards. These were sentinel warriors, protectors of the Illyrian race. The captain stepped forward, voice sharp. "Researcher Liara, step away from the human." Liara stood between Evan and the soldiers immediately. "No, he is not dangerous." The captain raised a metallic hand. "The ancient beacon says otherwise. It sent a warning across the station. Every system is reacting to him. We must take him under control." Evan forced himself to stand. His legs trembled. "I'm not trying to hurt anyone," but the soldiers ignored him. Their weapons hummed with bright blue energy. Lyra's voice grew firm. "If you take him by force, you will trigger the chamber defenses." The captain hesitated. Everyone knew the ancient chamber had security far older and stronger than anything the Illyrians use today. Still, the captain spoke coldly. "This human is connected to an ancient power. He must be contained." Evan felt fear crawl up his spine. No matter what he did, everything around him kept reacting, and now it was putting him in danger. Liara stepped closer to him, lowering her voice. "Stay calm. Do not speak in the ancient language, not until I say." But the moment the soldiers raised their weapons, the runes on the floor flashed. The sphere above the pedestal pulsed again, and a deep voice echoed through the chamber. "The ancient voice is threatened." The soldiers froze. Evan felt something rise inside him, something heavy, instinctive, powerful. He did not understand it, but it understood him. Before anyone could move, Evan's mouth opened. Words he didn't choose came out. A command. A single phrase in the dead language. The sound wasn't loud, but it shook the entire chamber like thunder rolling through stone. And instantly, every soldier dropped to one knee. Their weapons powered down, their armor dimmed. Their helmets unlocked and lifted a few centimeters, as if bowing. Lyra's breath caught. You gave a royal command." Evan staggered back. "I didn't mean to." Liara shook her head slowly. "It wasn't you. It was your ancestral memory. A part of yourself awakening." The captain struggled to rise but couldn't. His voice trembled with something that sounded like fear. "That phrase belongs only to the high speakers of the First Age," he said. "It means, stand down in the presence of the true voice." Evan stared at his own hands. It felt like he had touched something powerful, something far bigger than him. Liara stepped closer, studying him with a mix of awe and concern. "You didn't force them," she said softly. "Their armor recognized that command and obeyed." Evan shook his head. "This is a mistake. I'm not some ancient leader. I'm just a human." Liara said gently, "Yes, but maybe humans were not always what they are today." Evan felt his chest tighten. Across the room, the floating star map changed. The hologram zoomed closer to the dark region where the Void Reaver slept. Red lines pulsed across the map, like veins of danger spreading. Lyra's expression hardened. "That creature is waking up." The captain finally managed to stand. His voice was serious but no longer hostile. "Researcher Liara, what do you suggest?" Liara turned to Evan, her voice steady. "He needs protection, not a prison." The soldiers exchanged looks. They had never taken orders from a human before, but the ancient command he gave still weighed on them. Liara continued, "We must bring him to the knowledge core. It is the only place that may have answers." The captain hesitated. "The knowledge core is restricted. Only council members may enter." Evan suddenly felt a pull, a strange sensation deep inside his chest, as if something in the station was calling to him again. He whispered, "Is the knowledge core also something ancient?" Liara nodded. "Yes, it holds forbidden memories of our ancestors." Evan swallowed hard. "I think I felt something there." Lyra's eyes widened. "Then it's true. The core is waking too." The soldiers looked nervous. The captain lowered his head respectfully toward Evan. "Very well. The human may pass. But if anything goes wrong, Lyra finished for him, it will not be because of him. It will be because we waited too long. The sphere above them hummed again, sending gentle golden light across the chamber. The message was clear. Evan was needed. And the universe didn't care whether he understood why. The soldiers stepped aside to let Evan pass. Lyra walked beside him, her voice low but full of something new. Trust. We go to the core, she said. And there, the truth will finally reveal itself. Evan took a deep breath. Fear followed him. Responsibility clung to him. But something else stirred too, a spark he didn't recognize. The spark of an ancient power. Long asleep and human. Blood. And now awake. Evan walked beside Lyra as the soldiers led them through new corridors of the station. But these corridors were different, older, darker, and filled with walls engraved with symbols no one had touched for thousands of years. Soft golden dust floated in the air, as if ancient memories had been waiting this whole time. Evan whispered, "This place feels alive." Lyra nodded slowly. "It is. You are walking inside our history." The deeper they went, the quieter the station became. The distant hum of machines faded. The blue lights dimmed. Everything grew colder, like they were entering a place that time itself had forgotten. At last, they reached a large circular door made of black stone. Unlike the other doors, this one had no panel, no locks, no scans. Only a single glowing rune sat in the center. The soldiers stood back immediately. One of them bowed their head. "The knowledge core," the captain announced. "Only chosen voices may enter." Lyra turned to Evan. "Do you feel anything?" Evan closed his eyes. A soft vibration pulsed under the floor. Then, a whisper. Inside his head, not a voice, not words, a feeling. A call. "Yes," he said quietly. "It wants me to step closer." Lyra's eyes softened. "Then go." Evan placed his hand on the glowing rune. Instantly, the door slid open like a silent breath. A gust of warm air spilled out, swirling around him. It felt familiar, comforting, almost like a memory from childhood. But he knew he had never been here before. The chamber inside was massive, shaped like a dome. The ceiling glowed with thousands of tiny lights, forming constellations that shifted slowly across the sky-like surface. In the center of the room stood a tall vertical pillar made of crystal and dark metal, filled with swirling golden mist. Ancient symbols floated around it like drifting leaves. Lyra whispered, "This is the memory pillar. It holds the oldest records of our civilization." Evan stepped closer. The pillar reacted immediately, glowing, pulsing, like a heartbeat speeding up. Lyra gasped, "It's recognizing you again." Evan reached out his hand. The moment his fingers touched the crystal surface, a blast of light shot through the room. Lyra covered her eyes. The soldiers shielded their faces. When the light calmed, floating holograms circled the room, scenes from millions of years ago. Evan stared in shock. He saw a group of tall, elegant beings, Illyrians from the First Age, traveling through space in golden ships shaped like wings. They landed on a planet covered in blue oceans and green forests. Earth. Lyra single quotes as voice trembled. This is our oldest record. Our ancestors visited your world." The hologram showed the ancient Illyrians stepping onto Earth's surface. They placed glowing crystals into the ground. The crystals spread golden energy into the soil, the air, the oceans. Animals watched from the trees. Early humans walked closer, curious. Illyrians spoke in the ancient language, the same language Evan was speaking. The hologram showed something shocking. The Illyrians placed a glowing sphere into the humans' hands. The humans bowed. Lyra whispered, "This isn't just contact, this is a gift." The pillar shifted again, showing the sphere's energy flowing into early human bodies, merging with DNA. It wasn't harmful. It was protective. It was knowledge, strength, potential. Evan stared. So humans didn't evolve alone? Liara shook her head slowly. Our ancestors helped your species grow. They shared their voice, their power, their memory. Evan stepped back, overwhelmed. So that language, the one I speak, Liara finished softly, was once spoken by ancient humans too. You are not learning it. You are remembering it. Evan felt his world tilt. Everything he knew. Every belief, every history book. It all felt incomplete now, but the pillar wasn't done. Another hologram appeared, darker, heavier. It showed the Void Reaver rising from space like a living shadow, destroying planets, devouring stars. The Illyrians fought it with golden energy. The same energy inside the humans, Liara whispered. That battle nearly destroyed the universe. The hologram showed ancient humans standing beside the Illyrians, activating giant machines with their shared voice. Together they sealed the Void Reaver in a dead region of space. Evan shivered. Then the scene changed. The Illyrians divided. The First Age ended. The ancient language faded from both species. Humans forgot everything. Illyrians lost the ability to speak their ancestors' tongue. The final image showed a prophecy carved in stone. When darkness returns, so will the lost voice, and through him, the star children will unite again. Liara stared at Evan, eyes wide, filled with both fear and hope. It's you, she whispered. You are the lost voice, the last memory of a forgotten age. Evan shook his head violently. No, I'm not a savior. I'm not chosen. I'm not. But the memory pillar pulsed again, surrounding him with golden light. A new message appeared. The Void Reaver stirs. The lost voice must rise. Evan took a shaky breath. His ancestors had fought this before. Now the responsibility had returned to him. Liara stepped closer, placing a hand on his arm. Her voice was soft, but steady. You are not alone. We will face this together. Evan looked at the glowing pillar, the prophecy repeating around him. For the first time he understood. He wasn't here by accident. He was connected to something ancient, something powerful, something waiting for him. And now it was awake. The memory pillar grew dim, but its final message still echoed in the silent chamber. The Void Reaver stirs. The lost voice must rise. Evan felt the weight of the words pressing on his chest like a heavy stone. Everything he had learned. Humans were connected to Illyrians. The ancient language lived inside him. He carried a forgotten power. It was too much. Too fast. Too unbelievable, he whispered. How can I stop something that destroyed stars? Liara stepped beside him. Her soft teal eyes held a mix of fear and determination. We don't know yet, she said. But the core believes you're the key. The soldiers exchanged tense looks. Some seemed unsure, others afraid. But none of them dared to speak the ancient words written in golden runes still floating in the air. Suddenly, the floor trembled. Deep vibration rolled through the entire station like a distant thunderstorm. Dust fell from the ceiling. The light from the constellations flickered. The captain raised his voice. Impact detected. Something hit the outer shields. Evan's heart jumped. Is it the Void Reaver already? Liara shook her head quickly. No, it cannot be. The Void Reaver has not fully awakened. This must be something else. But before she could finish, the crystalline walls of the chamber lit up with a red warning pattern. A robotic voice echoed. Incoming energy surge detected. Unknown origin. Level critical. The soldiers raised their weapons. Liara rushed too. Her tablet, reading the data streaming across it. Her expression turned pale. This energy. It matches the old Void Reaver patterns. Evan staggered back. But you said it's still sealed, Liara swallowed. I said I hoped it was sealed. The station trembled again, harder this time. A sharp metallic scream echoed from somewhere. Far below, as if the entire structure was being torn apart. The captain barked orders. All units, secure evacuation paths. Protect the core. But Liara shook her head. No, if the core is damaged, all ancient records will be lost. Evan needs them. Evan looked at her sharply. Why me? Why does everything depend on me? Liara met his eyes. Because you're the only living being who can speak the ancient commands. The First Age used those commands to control their greatest weapons, weapons powerful enough to stop the Void Reaver once. Evan's throat tightened. So I'm supposed to activate some ancient weapon? Liara nodded slowly. Yes, the weapon is under this station, buried deep in the core. Before Evan could respond, the chamber lights turned red again. A projection appeared above the memory pillar, showing the outer view of space. A swirling black cloud was approaching the station. Red lightning cracked inside it. The cloud moved like a living creature searching for something. Liara stared in horror. That's a void echo. Evan frowned. A what? Liara explained quickly while alarms blared around them. When the Void Reaver wakes, it sends out echoes, small fragments of its power. They search for ancient energy sources and destroy them. And this station has ancient energy. Evan said quietly. Liara nodded. And you have even more. Evan felt cold. So it's coming for me. The captain spoke sharply. We must move, now. The soldiers formed a protective ring around Evan and Liara as they rushed out of the chamber. The distant sound of cracking metal echoed through the halls. Lights flickered on and off. The station groaned under the pressure of the approaching void echo. Evan ran, but the fear inside him grew. He wasn't trained for this. He wasn't a warrior. He was just him. But the prophecy didn't care. As they reached a large lift platform, the floor shook again. A fracture spread across the wall like a spider web of light. Liara grabbed Evan's hand for the first time. Her voice was steady. You're stronger than you think, not because of power, but because humans always rise when the universe falls. Evan stared at her. How can you believe that? Liara smiled faintly. Because your ancestors fought beside ours. They were brave, they were fierce. And their memory lives inside you. The lift doors closed. The platform began descending rapidly into the lower levels of the station. Evan took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. What is down there? He asked. Liara answered softly. The heart mechanism. A machine built in the First Age. Only an ancient voice can activate it. And what does it do? Evan asked. Liara hesitated. We don't know. The records say only one thing. It awakens the light that destroys the shadow. The lift suddenly halted with a jolt. The void echo's shadow appeared outside the lift window, a swirling black mist pressing against the outer hull. Cracking the metal with red lightning, the station groaned. The lights dimmed. A cold whisper echoed through the air like 1,000 distant screams. Evan felt something burn inside his chest, the ancient power waking again. The captain shouted, Liara, the human! Prepare him, you're almost there. Liara grabbed Evan's shoulders. When the door opens, she said, run to the heart mechanism. Place your hand on the center crystal, and let the ancient voice speak for you. Evan swallowed hard. What if I say the wrong thing? Liara's eyes softened. You won't. The voice knows what to say. The lift doors slowly opened with a hiss. The void echo shrieked from behind them, and the ancient machine waited ahead, glowing with faint golden light. It was time. The lift doors opened with a heavy hiss, releasing a wave of warm golden light. Evan stepped out first, breathing hard. The hallway ahead wasn't like the rest of the station. It was wide, ancient, carved from dark stone, mixed with glowing veins of gold. The air felt thick, humming like a giant heartbeat hidden underground. Behind them, the void echo shrieked again, a sharp, metallic scream that made the walls tremble. The lift collapsed after they stepped out, crushed by the black mist. Liara pulled Evan forward. There's no going back. Only forward. The captain and the remaining soldiers formed a defensive line behind them, weapons raised, energy shields flickering. Move! The captain shouted. Protect the human at all costs. Evan didn't stop running. The hallway opened into a giant chamber, the largest room he had ever seen. The ceiling rose high above, filled with swirling patterns of gold and blue. In the center, floating above a circular platform, was the heart mechanism. It was not a machine. It was a marvel, a massive crystal sphere rotated in slow circles. Golden threads flowed from it, spreading like roots into the floor. Smaller floating rings circled around the sphere. Each ring was covered in ancient runes glowing softly, like sleeping stars waiting to wake. Liara whispered, "This is it. The oldest creation of the First Age." Evan didn't need to be told. The moment he saw it, something inside him pulsed. Like his heart recognized the heart mechanism, the void echo crashed into the chamber behind them. Black mist spilled across the floor like spilled ink, red lightning cracking inside it. The soldiers opened fire. Blue bolts of energy sizzled through the air, but the void echo swallowed them like water swallowing light. "It's too powerful," the captain yelled. Liara grabbed Evan's hand again. "Go, now!" Evan ran onto the platform, the moment his foot touched the stone. Ancient runes lit up around him. The floating rings spun faster. The crystal sphere glowed brighter, shining golden light across the chamber. The void echo let out a scream so loud the soldiers fell to their knees. Evan stumbled but kept moving. He reached the center crystal, a tall pillar of glowing white and gold. His reflection stared back at him in the crystal surface, scared, shaken, confused, but also ready. Liara shouted from behind him, "Place your hand on it." Evan took a deep breath and touched the heart mechanism. An explosion of golden light erupted. The runes around the chamber lit up like 1,000 suns waking at once. The floating rings shot upward. The entire station shook. The power hit Evan like fire rushing into his veins. He gasped, eyes glowing bright gold. Ancient memories filled his mind. Voices of the First Age, memories of wars, forgotten commands, forgotten courage. He heard their chants, their warnings, their triumph. His own voice joined them. He didn't choose the words. The words chose him. Evan spoke the ancient command, "Unleash the light of the first children." The chamber blazed with golden fire. The void echo screamed as the light hit it, burning through the black mist like a sun burning away shadows. The soldiers shielded their eyes. Liara stared in shock and awe. Golden energy burst from the heart mechanism, spreading like a tidal wave across the room, hitting the void echo with unstoppable force. The creature shattered, breaking into pieces, dissolving into dust. The scream faded. The mist vanished. Silence filled the chamber. The golden light slowly dimmed. The floating rings lowered. The crystal sphere returned to a gentle glow. Evan collapsed to his knees, breathing heavily. His hands trembled. The golden light inside. His eyes faded slowly. Liara rushed to him, kneeling beside him. "Evan, are you hurt?" He shook his head weakly. "No, just tired. It felt like the whole universe was speaking through me." Liara placed a hand on his shoulder, relief flooding her face. "You did it," she whispered. "You stopped the void echo." The captain approached, bowing his head. "You have saved our entire station. Possibly more." Evan looked around at the ancient machine, feeling its quiet hum beneath him. He whispered, "Was this enough? Is the Void Reaver gone?" Liara didn't answer immediately. She stood, walking to the edge of the platform. Her eyes widened. "Evan, look." He stood beside her. In the sky projection above them, the distant dark region of space still glowed with red light, pulsing, moving, waking. Lyra's voice was soft but filled with dread. That was only an echo, a fragment. She pointed at the swirling darkness far away. The real Void Reaver is still coming. Evan inhaled sharply. Fear returned, but something else rose to that strength. He whispered. Then we're not done. Liara turned to him with a small smile, full of respect, trust, and something close to hope. No, she said. But we face it together. Evan looked at the heart mechanism, glowing softly behind him. He was no longer just a visitor. Longer just a human. He was the lost voice, the bridge between two civilizations. The last echo of an ancient age. And the universe needed him again. The final command was only the beginning.